I think the thing I was most struck by your book was just how different the climbing world was in 1970 versus now. You're like, oh, 50 years ago, it's not like that long. My parents were alive. Like it's all, I don't know, it feels somewhat recent. And yet reading your book, I was like, wow, this is worlds away in terms of, everything. This is Climbing Gold. What does it mean to do the
Yeah,
first women's ascent of Denali in 1970?
I agree with you. That was one of the astonishing things to me is that 1970 is very modern history, right? And yet there was this popular narrative at the time that women just could not do this. Nobody even knew if it was possible, which is just wild to me. It's not that long ago. And so there was this popular narrative at the time that women were incapable of even withstanding high altitudes physically and mentally, that they couldn't handle the elements, of a storm ravaged mountain. They couldn't carry these heavy loads. So in 1970, mountains were still being scaled siege style rather than the light and fast alpinism we have today, where you just carry everything you need in one backpack on your back. Maybe you get a gear drop if you're out for a long time. But I mean, these mountaineers would have just boxes of gear and food that you would ferry up to higher camps, right? So just enormous loads that you're carrying day after day.
And and not to
Eh,
mention that every aspect of their kit was much heavier then too.
no
Like the
kidding.
gear's heavier, the
Yeah.
food's heavier, everything's heavier. I
Oh
know
my
when
God.
you reading the book, like seeing the shuttling loads back and forth, I was like, oh my God, that is just soul crushing labor. It's like
Oh.
insane.
And the photos of the snowshoes that they were using, they're like 4 foot monstrosities that I can't even imagine hiking with. So the idea that women could do this was so outlandish. But it wasn't only that. There was, in 1970, still existed in these pockets of the world that if a woman had achieved a route or a summit without a man's help, that it was too easy for men to ever do again. And I don't know how much that really existed in American culture as much in 1970, but I do wonder if that's why some of this faded from the entire thing faded from our collective consciousness, right? Was it because this was Denali and nobody wanted to talk about the fact that women were doing this, right? Because then they could never do it again. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but that existed at the time. And so these women, as they were planning this, or what spurred them to plan it, were these outrageous sort of insults that they had to deal with.